Jean Piaget was born in Switzerland in 1896. He was married to Valentine in 1923, and they had 3 children. He is one of the first psychologists to talk about cognitive development, especially in children. There were 3 components to Jean Piaget's theory of cognition. The first component was schema. Schema is the basic building block of intelligence or behavior. An example of schema in my class was when my students were asked to role-play what happens at a baptism. They had to use the knowledge they already knew to reenact what happens during a baptism. The second component of Piaget's theory of cognition is a transition between what he called equilibrium, assimilation, accommodation, and disequilibrium. During the process of assimilation, the child uses an existing schema to deal with a new object or situation. In the accommodation stage, when existing knowledge doesn't work, the schema needs to be changed or adjusted to deal with the new situation. The equilibrium stage occurs when schemas can deal with most new information through assimilation. Disequilibrium occurs when something new is encountered and it does not fit into a child's schema and has not assimilated, which causes frustration within the child. The third component of Piaget's theory are the stages of development. Piaget believed that children developed at different stages. The 4 stages are sensory motor, pre-operational, concrete operational, and formal operational. The sensory motor stage occurs in the first 2 years of an infant's life. Infants are busy discovering the relationship between their bodies and their surroundings. The child is dependent on their senses. The pre-operational stage occurs around the ages of 2 through 7 years old. The child's thoughts are egocentric. Piaget theorized that the child assumes that everyone around him feels the same way that the child does. The concrete operational stage begins around 7 to 11 years old. Piaget believed this stage marked the start of logical or operational thought, but only to physical objects. According to Piaget, the formal operational stage starts at around 11 years old. The child starts to think in more abstract ways and are capable of higher order thinking. Piaget believed that children should not be taught until they have reached the age-appropriate stage of cognitive development. He also believed that children go through all the stages, but at different rates. According to Piaget, teachers should evaluate the level of a child's development and what stage they're in. Second thing teachers should do is to focus on the process of learning rather than the end product. Teachers also should use collaborative and individual activities. According to Piaget, you should also devise situations that present useful problems and create an environment where a child is learning. Some people believed that the cognitive development does not happen in stages, rather it is a continuous process. Some people have also disputed the age ranges that Piaget proposed. the progress to the formal operational stage is not always guaranteed according to some other theorists. They also don't take into account the social and cultural setting that the children are being observed in. And others also believed that Piaget's observations were based on subjective observations rather than measurable ones. As teachers and educators today, we are certainly right in line with Piaget's theory of cognitive development. We believe that children learn at different rates and in different ways. I think this is especially evident in our need to create classrooms with differentiated instruction. We also have classrooms where we set up desks to be collaborative so that children learn to work with each other. And we also assign them activities that allow them to work individually and to learn on their own.